Hello everyone and welcome back to another Marvel Crisis Protocol Battle Report, and today for you we have the A-Force again, this time with another large green ally, going up against the Asgardians in a 17 threat match on a similar table layout to last time, which has objectives and whatnot set up already. But first we will quickly go over the two small teams that are fighting each other today. So when I said two small teams were facing each other today, I meant number of participants in each team, not their actual size, because obviously look who's here. So this is the A-Force team being led by She-Hulk, and her cousin has come along. The Hulk is here, so that's 20 health each for a massive 40 health between them, which is going to be interesting, but obviously they take up a lion's share of the points. Then we also have Wasp, and we also have, for cheap 2 points, Okoye, and their tactics cards you can see over here: Agents of Smash, Stalwart Determination, Reversal, Brace for Impact, and Medpack. And it is also just 4 miniatures on the Asgardian team as well, obviously being led by Thor, but then he brought the 3 ladies along, so we have Valkyrie, we have Angela, and we have Enchantress, right on the end there, being good for once, I guess, kind of. And their tactics cards: Odin's Blessing, No Matter the Cost, Rainbow Bridge, Heavy Firepower, and Patch Up. And here are the 2 crisis events being played today. The Extraction is alien ship crashes downtown, so that's the ever famous on this channel 3 piles of debris with the Kree power core in them that nobody ever finds until like turn 3, and not the threat value being played today. The threat value being played was the 17th threat from Infinity Formula goes missing, so that's the 4 serum canisters set up on the map. You get 1 for each you're securing during the cleanup phase, and in the power phase, if you're contesting, so it doesn't matter if you have majority or not, you gain 1 power. So we come back here, we can see the serum canisters on the 4 corners there, and then down the middle, well, they should be on the rubble side. That's wishful thinking, there would be 3 power cores. One of them will become the Kree power core. We'll be back at deployment. So we have both teams set up today, both teams with low numbers but a lot of punching power in both sides. Even though the Asgardians are smaller in stature, they're powerful in their own right, especially Angela. Actually, she does very well against targets who are larger than her, so I hope better watch out. Anyway, the A-Force are deployed on your left, the Asgardians on your right. It will be the A-Force getting first activation. They have Wasp and Okoye down here, and then Hulk and She-Hulk are over here. Obviously all the Asgardians are starting with 2 power in the power phase. Hulk gets 3, She-Hulk gets 2, Okoye and Wasp get 1 each. There's Valkyrie, there's Angela, Thor, and Enchantress over on her lonesome there as well. So without further ado, let's jump into Battle Round 1. So Okoye got the game started and double medium moved in order to get to the central rubble pile there. She spent her 1 power to check the rubble pile, and she found it. She got a crit on one of the 2 dice, which means she has found the Kree power core. This one goes away immediately. The curse has been broken. It's not turn 3 before the thing gets discovered. It's on her person now. That's obviously not entirely great because she's only got 4 HP. She's not super strong, but finding it early just means it's in play early. The curse is lifted. Thor activated and flew forwards medium to land right there. Then he chucked his hammer for 1 power at Okoye. She did well with her defense roll, and she does have her Doramage reroll if she did do badly, but she didn't. It did 1 damage and automatically does the shock effect, so she'll be rolling 1 less attack die. And just a reminder, or just to let you know if you didn't see the first showing of A-Force on the table, their affiliation bonus given by She-Hulk: if one of them suffers damage as a result of an enemy effect, a different member of the team gets 1 power, but that can only happen per character once a turn. So She-Hulk has just gained an extra power from her being hit, which is pretty helpful. So next up for the A-Force was Hulk, and all he did was just double short move, conserving his power by not doing a gamma leap. He is just sitting on that Infinity Formula, daring anyone to come and try and claim it from him. Enchantress moved up to claim that Infinity Formula there, then used Spurned Affection, which is her beam 3, on the Hulk, and it did the least optimal amount of damage for him, because ideally you either want none or 3. It did 2, and also she had 1 wild in the roll, so she sapped 1 power from him, along with the 1 she gets just for doing it. Wasp activated and flew forwards all the way onto this Infinity Formula. She did also spend 1 power to shrink down, that's just to give herself rerolls. She's still counting as claiming this Infinity Formula, it's just that when she's small, if she was holding something she would drop it, but that's not the problem because Okoye has the power core. So that was just to give her a little bit more defense. She does still have 1 power left over as well, because with Hulk getting hit, it was 1 power given to her. And the A-Force affiliation bonus does just say allied character. It doesn't specifically need to be someone from the roster list. Angela was next up, and she is scary for a lot of reasons, not least the fact that she's long movement. So she shot down the table for a double long move for her turn, putting herself contesting that, so that's not going to score for either of them at present. That might change. And then she spent her 2 power that she started with on Odin's Daughter's Might to pick up the car that was right there and smash it into Wasp. Tiny Wasp, but I like to imagine she was just like holding the car above her head, smashing it all around, just trying to find her. Eventually she found her mark though, and Wasp took 2 damage despite being tiny and getting rerolls on defense and dodge. So the final activation of the first battle round for the A-Force was She-Hulk, and all she did was double medium move, well, more like a move and a half, to get up behind her cousin there on that Infinity Formula, and that's where she's ended her turn. So it's over to Valkyrie now to end off battle round 1 proper. And perhaps unexpectedly, all Valkyrie did was move up enough that she is threatening Wasp. That's a fight Wasp is not going to win over there, and she is still within 1, so she is claiming this Infinity Formula, and that does take us to the cleanup and scoring for the first battle round. So at the end of battle round 1, Okoye found and held on to the Kree power core for 2 victory points. A-Force also currently have 1 of the Infinity Formulas, just the one that Hulk and She-Hulk is on, whereas the Asgardians hold 2 of the Infinity Formula for 1 victory point each, meaning that as we go into battle round 2, it's A-Force going first, and it's 3-2 in their favour. However, also just remember during the power phase, everyone who is within 2 of one of the formulas, which is basically everyone except Thor and Okoye, they're getting an additional power. And in the power phase, which is rare, A-Force will be playing Stalwart Determination, and every person on their team will be paying 1 power for this. Oh, actually, you know what? Oh, it says Allied A-Force. No, Allied A-Force characters, so Hulk can't. Everyone except Hulk will be playing this reactive. During the... is it in focus? I think it is. During the power phase, any number of Allied A-Force characters may spend 1 to play this card. Characters that spent power to play this card cannot be pushed or thrown by enemy effects. Because Thor is a thrower, Angela is a thrower, it seems like a good idea. So everyone except Hulk will be paying 1, so that mitigates the free power some of them are getting, but still. So to get battle round 2 started for A-Force, Okoye activated and she had to get out of dodge because Angela and Thor were bearing down on her. She medium moved to roughly there, she medium moved to behind the 2 large protectors that she now has, and hopefully will be able to hide there. She's not within 1 to control the serum canister there. She isn't close enough to get his benefit though. Thor was first up for the Asgardians. He moved medium so that he's within 1 of that Infinity Formula, which might let Enchantress move. He then chucked his hammer. He targeted Okoye, who is within 5, but 2 was spent by She-Hulk with legal defense to become the target. She actually fully blocked it, but she still gets shocked regardless, so she now has the shock as well and will be losing 1 attack die. And it is back over to the A-Force. So you may notice that the battlefield had changed slightly since the last clip. The Hulk activated and Agents of Smash was played by him and She-Hulk. If it comes fully into... there we go, well this is the more important side. Unaffiliated, if Hulk and She-Hulk are within 2 of the same interactive terrain feature size 5 or less, they each spend 3 and either Hulk or She-Hulk can chuck it long. So the building counts as size 5, meaning it does 6 damage potentially. They picked it up and they chucked it at Thor, perhaps expectantly after the rolls were made and such. Thor would have taken 5 damage, but Odin's Blessing was played. He spends 3 power and the damage is reduced to 1, so he took 1 damage from that. Then Hulk began his actual activation, moved small up to contest the Infinity Formula. He then spent 2 to pick up Thor and chuck him into Angela, so Thor took 1 automatic damage from that. Angela did okay and took 1 damage from the impact of Thor smacking her in the face. Also, I'm pretty sure I said Angela there, and by that I of course mean Enchantress. Angela activated next and used her Zipha's Sword of the Stars, or Zephos, whatever it's called. She did that, 6 physical. Her first roll for the first effort to use this on Wasp was 5 blanks, 1 hit, but this shows why you should always roll it out, because even though Wasp was re-rolling her defense dice, she didn't succeed against it, so it did 1 damage. Either way though, Angela did have to do another one. This one did 3, it only needed to do 2. So Wasp is now unconscious, dazed, will not be getting a turn this activation, and Angela is now successfully holding this Infinity Formula. So with Wasp being dazed, that meant that only She-Hulk was left for A-Force with 4 miniatures to decide. This is going to be a quick one, I think. So She-Hulk didn't have any choice really. She repositioned slightly and then shook the shock as her other action, but she's claiming that Infinity Formula because Okoye isn't close enough, couldn't get close enough with her movement from where she was. So now it's over to Valkyrie and Enchantress, and Valkyrie's almost certainly going to be standing still on the Infinity Formula she's holding to keep them even with point gain. So it's just down to what Enchantress wants to do, but if she moves away, Hulk and Thor counter each other on that formula, so no one will be claiming it. So we'll see what happens. So Enchantress opted to stand still for her turn. She used Siren's Call on the Hulk for 2 power to force him to move small, so that's why he's kind of wandering off aimlessly into the middle where that building used to be. He's confused, and then, for lack of anything better, because one movement isn't enough to get her to the other serum to counter it, she used Enthrall, her Mystic attack, for 3, and whiffed really badly. Also, Hulk has 3 Mystic defense, even though he only has 2 physical and energy, but 3 Mystic for some reason. He blocked any and all damage coming in, and Valkyrie is just claiming this serum here for the point, because it makes the most sense. There's nothing else she needs to do. So we are just straight into the cleanup for Battle Round 2 with that done. And at the end of Battle Round 2, did I say Battle Round 1 before? I hope I didn't, because it was Battle Round 2. And at the end of Battle Round 2, the points have scaled up in exactly the same fashion they did in Battle Round 1. Okoye still has the Kree Power Core for 2 power, and A-Force are claiming that serum for a total of 3 victory points. However, the other 3 serums are all under Asgardian control very comfortably for 3 victory points as well. But that early turn 1 victory point difference is keeping A-Force in the lead. As we go into Battle Round 3, A-Force is going first again, and they are leading 6-5 in victory points. So Hulk activated first in Battle Round 3 for A-Force. He spent 3 for Gamma Leap to jump 2 back over to there to contest the serum. He then did a basic strike for his first actual action on the turn into Thor's face, and he smacked him for 4, which is exactly enough needed with the 2 damages taken earlier to daze him, so Thor will not be getting a turn this activation. Then he did another basic strike on Enchantress, who I keep confusing with Angela, and she gets her big defense. She gets to use her Mystic defense, so as a result only 1 damage got through. Still though, Thor will not be getting a turn. If if Enchantress decides to move, Hulk, I'm just getting all the names confused. If Enchantress decides to move, Hulk will be claiming that serum, so that hopefully will add a little bit of extra protection for Okoye. So we're back down here for the Angela versus Wasp fight. Angela activated and did 2 Blades of Ichor for her turn, which is 1 less attack die than her basic strike, but it's energy instead, cost 1 power each, and that means Wasp only has 2 rerollable energy defense dice against those attacks. But 2 bad rolls meant that the first one got through for 1 damage, as you can see there. The second one didn't get through at all. It was 1 successful hit, which was easily blocked even without rerolls. So now Wasp is actually going to get a turn unless Valkyrie jumps on her first. So Wasp activated and decided that she needed to get out of there, because if this is going to be 1, it's going to be 1 on the western front, not the eastern one. So she did Wasp's Fury for 3 or 2. 6 energy. Angela easily blocked it with her 4 energy dice, just absolutely took everything to the face with no damage. But as part of that attack completing, she gets a free medium move, which put her roughly there, and she has to change size, which again kind of gave her an additional 1. She then spent 1 power on change size. Now change size is a once per turn power, but the change size back to big was part of the Wasp's Fury, so it counts. She can do it again to go back to being small, which gave her long movement. So for her other activation, she long moved and has ended up over there with her team and also within 1 of the Infinity Formula. Enchantress activated and used Enthrall on Hulk again. Didn't get a great roll, only got 1 hit through. It was a wild though, so he got the slow effect. He's over there again though, because she once again spent 2 power on Siren's Call on Hulk, which makes him a forced advance small, so he's out there far away from getting any extra power from the Infinity Formulas. For her other actual action, because Siren's Call isn't an action, she just positioned herself differently so that once Thor is awake again next turn, they're kind of creating a wall around the front of that Infinity Formula. So now it's over to either Okoye or She-Hulk. She-Hulk activated and double medium moved for her turn to get her behind and very close to this Infinity Formula so that she is claim it. She then spent 3 power on Clear the Court to pick up Enchantress and chuck her into the car. The damage symbol has been lost underneath the card, but she obviously took 1 from the impact, but is otherwise fine. But because she got chucked away and Thor is dazed, that is now under A-Force control, which is significant, because if they can just keep on creeping the lead forward a little bit, that'll be enough to win. I wonder how things would have gone if Angela and Thor were on that side of a table and Enchantress was over here. Who knows? So it would be Valkyrie to go last for the Asgardians, but she is just claiming that Infinity Formula to keep them in the game. She can't get close enough in a double move to make any other difference, so she's just going to get that 1 victory point. And Okoye, she's just basically sitting still as well. She moved a little bit closer, so she's within 1 of that point, and then she cleared her shock. But that is all she's doing, so that does take us to the end of Battle Round 3. It does mean that in Battle Round 4, the Asgardians are going first for the first time this match, but that'll be after we tally up some points. That was a very significant turn for the A-Force, because it has now put the Asgardians in a position where they can no longer just sit idle holding points if they want to win, because the difference between the two teams is pulled apart too far. The A-Force have the Power Core on Okoye for 2. They hold this Infinity Formula, and they hold that Infinity Formula for 4 points in total, and the Asgardians only have these 2 for 2. So as we go into Battle Round 4, Asgardians going first, the A-Force have pulled ahead with 10 victory points, and the Asgardians are now trailing on 7. So it was Angela who activated first in Battle Round 4 for the Asgardians, but also first, Rainbow Bridge was played. So any number of Asgardian allies, or Asgardian characters, may spend 3 to play this card. Characters that spent this power are placed within 3 of their current location. They are going full aggro. I imagine they're like Sideshow Bob's son from The Simpsons that just keeps on shouting revenge. Angela spent 3, Valkyrie spent 3, put Angela roughly there, Valkyrie roughly there. Angela moved up long and then did a Heaven's Wrath on Hulk, which is a 4 physical, but also you add the target's size on, so it became 8 physical. Didn't do too great, and you need 2 crits and a wild, I think, on it, which is like the equivalent of 3 1 in 8 chances. And then she gets a free cleave. Didn't get it, but did do 4 damage to the Hulk. So again, just going absolutely full aggro on the A-Force now to try and take them out, because they're not going to win by points. She-Hulk activated and did 2 of her basic attacks, sensational uppercuts or whatever they're called. On Thor, the first one whiffed entirely. The second one did 2 damage and also applied slow to him. And then she spent 3 power to clear the court, picked up Thor, chucked him against the building here. So that's an additional 1 damage. He was sitting on 10 power already anyway, so that's why she just kind of went ham on him. Enchantress was next up. She used a Spurned Affection on She-Hulk and did not get through her defense, so no damage there. For her other actual activation, she moved into range of the Infinity Formula there. She then spent 2 power on Siren's Call to force She-Hulk to walk away small, so that she's right next to Thor for no particular reason, I'm sure. So it was Okoye who activated next. However, there has been a boo-boo. Totally forgot that if you're holding the Kree Power Core and you end your activation without attacking anybody, you take 1 damage. Now that only would have mattered as of last turn. Had she not attacked, it would have taken her out. So we're just going to burn Medpack. It only costs 2 power. 2 power, she had more than enough. She still has 2 left after just removing this. So we'll say during her last turn she would have spent 2 to heal herself for 3. So she's still got 1 damage on her. The power is gone. So it all still works out that everything that has happened will still have happened. But yes, totally forgot that if you don't attack while holding the Kree Power Core, you slowly die. So this card has just been burned because it would have had to be spent to save her. Nothing would have changed because no one got close enough to Okoye prior to Angela just moving there this turn, so she couldn't have attacked anyway. So yeah, sorry, totally forgot that, but everything still plays out exactly the same once that card is considered burned, which it is. So anyway, for Okoye's turn, she just did 2 basic strikes on Angela. Not much chance of doing damage. 1 damage all said and done. Not much, but something. So Thor activated next, and he spent his 6 power on God of Thunder, his AoE thunder attack on the sensational She-Hulk, and it's the first damage she took in the game, and it was a quarter of her health. She took 5 damage from it. He then paid 2 for Strongest Avenger to pick her up and throw her into the corner here for an additional 1 just from the impact, and then moved ever so slightly just so he's claiming that Infinity Formula right there. Wasp activated and used her Wasp's Fury again on Angela, which is the attack that also equals a medium move if she wants, and you have to change size. Angela took no damage from that, and that grew her back into normal size. She did eventually also spend 1 to then re-shrink, but prior to that she also spent 2 on Pym discs, or 3. You pick a terrain feature size 3 or less within 2 and chuck it medium, because she kind of shrinks and re-enlarges them. Chucked that at Angela and she whiffed her dodge roll, so she took 2 damage from the impact. And with that we are over to Valkyrie to end off battle round 4 for the Asgardians. So Valkyrie activated and did a Warrior of Legend Dragon Fang with a wild, which gave her a free strike. On She-Hulk, the Warrior of Legend lets her change a blank to a hit for every wild and crit in the roll it was, I think. Either way, she did 4 damage. In total, that puts She-Hulk at half health. She has 10 remaining. And then for her other actual action, she did a medium move back here, because all of a sudden things are looking up for the Asgardians, so she was within range to quickly come back here and claim that. So now it's over to the Hulk to end off the turn proper. So the Hulk did a Hulk smash. Normally 8 physical dice, thanks to the damage on him it was up to 10. It only did 2 damage. This is the way that it always happens. So then he did a basic strike on Angela after... Oh sorry, he got a wild on the Hulk smash, so it staggered and allowed him to throw her small, so he put her in front of him. He did a basic strike, 8 dice, and it did 5 damage. It only needed to do 1 at that point. Angela was dazed, so she'll be flipping her card, and that does take us to the end of battle round 4. And in battle round 5, it'll be the Asgardians still going first. So victory points wise, as we get ready to go into battle round 5, obviously the Kree Power Core is still in the possession of A-Force, and Okoye did attack this turn, so there's no damage there. That's 2 victory points. They also hold the Infinity Formula there with her and Wasp for 1. So that's only 3 victory points they gained that turn. The Asgardians gain 2 because they hold that and that. So as we go into battle round 5, the A-Force are on 13, so if things stay as they are now, they've won. The Asgardians are now only trailing on 9, and they are getting first activation, and Okoye's looking pretty worried that Angela's sitting on a lot of power and she's on her angry side, so we are still going to carry on. Let's get into battle round 5. So Angela obviously activated first. She moved long to get into contesting range of that Infinity Formula. For her other action, she did a basic attack on Okoye, and as you can see, she rolled pretty well. 5 damage, only needed to do 3. So Okoye is dazed, will not be getting a turn. She dropped the Kree Power Core, which then Angela picked up for 1. She then spent 2 to pick up the Hulk and throw him medium. Didn't connect with anything, so no damage. Just wanted to clear some space so he can't easily get to her. Oh, before we carry on, a reactive tactics card is being played. Reversal. After an attack that targeted an allied character is resolved, another allied character within 3 of the attacking character may spend 2 to play this card. Roll 4 dice, deal 1 damage for each crit or wild rolled. So Wasp spent 2 to react to Okoye being attacked, and obviously Angela is right next to her. There's the roll, as you can see, so Angela took 2 damage from that. Hulk activated and Gamma leapt for 3 power, and then he did a normal move to get where you can see him. He did a basic strike into Angela, which did 4 damage, but as you can see she's over there because he also spent 2 to pick her up and chuck her. She just touches the back of the wall here, which I guess also technically destroys the wall because it's smaller than her, not that it particularly matters, but we'll say it's destroyed. That did 1 damage. With the 2 she took from reversal, that is enough to take her out, so Angela is actually down, which has never happened before in the reports she's been in. She's also dropped the core. Hulk is obviously too far away to pick it up, but if Wasp lives and can pick it up and run away with it, that's basically game, but Thor and Enchantress are close enough to do something about it. So Thor activated and shot forwards, flying, double medium move straight down here to pay 1 to pick up the Kree Power Core. You might have noticed that he still had the slow icon on him. Retconning a little bit, he should have spent 1 power to use the Asgardian Affiliation to get rid of the status effect, so he has. It keeps it more interesting that way. So he is holding the Power Core. He's on his wounded side with no damage. Oh sorry, no, he does have damage. I forgot he got punched. So he does have damage on him. He's got 3 damage on his wounded side. So he has, what, 5 left? So I don't think the Wasp is going to be able to take him out. And I don't think She-Hulk can get close enough. This is still to play for, I think. So I'd just like to take back anything bad I've ever said about Wasp. I prefer Ant-Man personally, but she showed that you shouldn't underestimate a tiny Wasp. She did a Wasp's Fury because she was in size small. It did 4 damage, which also includes a size change back up, a forced one. Then she did her basic size changing punch, which is an optional size change, and that did 4 damage as well. Even if Thor wasn't hurt on his wounded side, that would be enough to one-shot, well not one-shot because it was across 2 attacks, but Wasps would have single-handedly taken Thor out. So Thor dropped the power core and she still had one power left to pick it up. So she's holding it again, and at this point it does seem like the Asgardians will not win. Because if Enchantress moved once and then maybe like tried to kill her, she's at full health. Well, no, she's wounded, so she would have to take 3 damage. If she dropped that, they would still score this, and She-Hulk would just walk onto there and score that. If she double moved to contest this, they're still scoring the power core, and She-Hulk could walk onto there and score that. So basically either way you cut it, they've won, because even if it ran out into another turn, like even if they made them not get quite enough, like get 2 not 3, the next turn with only 2 bodies against 4, they wouldn't be able to do it. So there's going to be a concede from the Asgardians. There was a glimmer of hope there, but Wasp just annihilated Thor. So that was an interesting matchup, and it was very fun having Hulk and She-Hulk on the same team. Between them they're taking up 12 points, so that you're never going to have a lot of miniatures if you do this, but they are a force to be reckoned with. They can take a beating. 3 of the Asgardians wailed on She-Hulk and managed to take her to half health. Some of that was luck, but she does have good defense rolls. If the 3 of them were beating on the Hulk, he might be closer to death, I feel, because of his defense rolls being so terrible. You also don't have to run them as A-Force. You can use She-Hulk in Avengers teams. So you could team her up with the Hulk in an Avengers team and take advantage of a day unlike any other with Captain America's affiliation bonus. That might be interesting as well. I was expecting it to be a bit of a meme, having both them on the same team, but honestly they're intimidating and really effective. It's a shame Odin's Blessing countered the fact that they chucked a building, but that was kind of baiting it out on purpose for the throws following after that. A-Force is good. The A-Force affiliation bonus, as long as you always remember it, is handy. And yeah, a lot got done. I'm not sure if A-Force is a better than Avengers in terms of team cohesion. I don't know, because there's a lot of options for A-Force. Avengers is a bit limited by having a lot of core box miniatures and like must takes, like Hawkeye. Technically, just Hawkeye is too good for his point cost. I don't know. We're not here to debate lists or anything like that. This is just for fun. But A-Force is good. Avengers or A-Force with Hulk and She-Hulk, better than I thought. But the Asgardians did put up a fight. I wonder how things would have been different if, well, one, like said during the match, if Loki, if Loki had been here, the extra power cost for She-Hulk and Hulk activating their powers, would that be a problematic thing? Or if Angela had been with Thor on the upper end of the table instead of down where she was, wasting turns. Like, Angela is really intimidating and really powerful. She whiffed 1 turn trying to kill Wasp, and that could have cost the game, actually, because she could have got over much quicker if she'd taken out Wasp in that second turn. Oh well, anyway, that was good. I hope you enjoyed watching, and next time we'll be on a different table setup. There's an Asgardian table setup coming soon, so look out for that. I'm looking forward to putting it together. Hopefully it will look good, so I don't know if we'll have the Asgardians immediately on the map since we just saw them, but we'll see. Thanks for watching, and until next time, ta-ta for now.